Everybody, welcome to RavenCast episode 11. Today we'll be talking about the Materia is a country in Northwest Africa. I'm sorry, I apologize because it's so hard to pronounce, but I'm gonna call it Materia. So Materia is a northwestern African country in Africa that still does slavery to this day. They beat their slave, they trade the slaves, and their excuse for it is that the dark slaves need to be up below dirt, and that the Muslims are basically higher power, and like the fair skin, basically. Like if you have brown skin and you're Muslim, you are basically going to heaven. And the reason why the justification they give these slaves is, if you let us slave you and you let us torture you and you do our labor for our gods, basically, then you go to heaven. And today, while we cover this, I'll be joined by Den of Thames, Zoran, which are two guests that came from the previous episode, and I'll also be joined by another special guest named W Rex. What's up?
Hi.
Hi, how you doing tonight?
Fantastic. How about you?
I'm doing good. All right, Neth, we can go ahead and get started with the video.
All right, but right before we do, I just want to make a quick statement. Their whole religious construct on this exact form of slavery comes from like Islam, pretty much.
Yeah, it comes from
Islam.
Islam.
It comes directly from Islam and the Quran and Sharia's law, and it's all really fucking sad. And
it's all really like sad and dumb, and the logic's like stupid.
So I'm gonna go and play it now.
All right, go ahead.
And we'll get into it further.
I think we don't like to think and believe that slavery doesn't exist anymore. But according to the official statistics, in 2016, there were about 46 million slaves on the planet. 70% of whom are women. And the remaining 30 were men.
Lovely.
So which states still have slavery? Hey guys, welcome to our channel. Today we're going to be talking about a country that is probably the last one in the world where slavery is still considered the norm.
Hold on, can you pause it real quick?
If you
I want to make
try
a
to
correction.
characterize this country in a few words.
This country is not the last country to have slavery. There are countries in South America as well as North Korea and other countries like in Asia, Europe, and mainly South America and Africa that still have slavery. So this part of the video is kind of wrong because there are a lot of communist countries. It's mainly third world countries that still do slavery, like third world countries where they don't really have that much technology. So it's really not known because it's not really much documented because a lot of these countries are like so far behind where they don't even have any data or anything known about them.
Hey Triton, you want to know why they still use slavery? I can sum it up in one word.
What is the word?
Economics.
Yep.
They're so economically declined that the concept of slavery existing is what allows them to exist.
Yeah, that's why they do it, because without these slaves and without these people that they beat and torture and like do horrible things to, the economy's fucked.
Like if no one did the work that these slaves are doing, the work would never get done because nobody would do it. It's the exact premise. It's the exact premise around the Civil War a little bit too, because it was the same argument with the cotton fields and shit. Like no one wants to go out there and pick cotton. No one wants to do like manual labor to the point they're fucking dead, but they're forced to do it. That's the whole key of slavery. It's more based around greed and the lack of
based about greed.
It's greed. Can I finish, Triton?
Yeah, go ahead.
So it's based directly on greed with a lack of human rights and human value of life. There is no concept of life in this country. You're lucky to live past 30 in most third worlds.
Oh yeah, and because I've watched this video beforehand to do my research, and basically, the life expectancy in this country is only like 60 years, 30 to 60 years. Like, you don't live that long in this country because this country conditions are just horrible. Because for one, they're in the middle of the desert. For one, which means like nothing but heat and heat strokes. Hydration's really low. They barely get any rain, and not only that, but their country like is going through a bunch of corruption and wars as it is. And not only that, but if you're not Muslim, you're basically turned into a slave because you're not fair skinned, quote unquote. Is their excuse, which I don't know. I really, that's one thing I didn't really understand. It's like what I mean.
They're using racial premise as the excuse for slavery.
Yeah, they're using
their doctrines.
They're not even using racial. They're using religion mainly. Religion.
Yes, but by connecting race to the religion.
To be fair skinned, you have to be Muslim, and to go to heaven, you have to like serve the Muslims, basically. And that's what they tell these slaves too. They're like, if you don't become our slaves, you're gonna go to hell, and you're not going to heaven.
That's the same construct that they did for that the Iraqis have used. That's the same construct that many ancient societies that are long gone now had used for slavery.
I think that's what what they used to
if you're
use
bound in chains, you're incapable of spiritually being free. Yeah, if you're not bound in if you aren't bound in chains, you're bound to dying in hellfire or condemned, basically. So by creating like not even a political, it's more of like a religious zealot kind of behavior amongst the masses towards that specific ecosystem, you create the slavery that exists.
Yep.
I was going to say,
watch this video.
Well, not only that, but we want to talk like the concept of the Civil War slavery versus this. With the Civil War slavery, a lot of that was because people were sold and traded as property. This, however, is different from it. How it's different is because, one, they don't sell their slaves. I
don't mean to cut you off, but just to correct you, they do sell the slaves here. They do They do have like a whole slave trade in this country.
Well, I'm not a particular shock.
Like the villages in this country, like they trade slaves to each other, and they sell these slaves as property. Basically, like if you're born as a slave, you're basically property. They could sell you. They could shove and this stuff's in the video too. They will literally shove.
Don't get it far into the video. We're only not even a minute in,
and I haven't even finished.
Watch it.
So what I was saying here, as far as the slavery compared to the U.S. slavery, you also have to understand that a lot of the slavery wasn't so much about keeping the slaves. It was the thing of state rights. A lot of people don't understand that the biggest point of the Civil War was not slavery. While there was a connection to it, the biggest point of it was state rights. The argument was the federal government should not have the right to stomp on the states' rules and regulations based on the Constitution. And at the time, it was not written in the Constitution to give everybody who had a different skin color the same equal rights. That's the biggest difference between this and this.
Yeah, and then there was also the taxation that was a big part of the Civil War to some extent as well.
Yeah, the taxation of the goods and supplies, which most part was like cotton and whiskey and a few others, stemming over from the whiskey tax.
Yeah, so we'll go and continue.
Yeah.
Slavery. So, Mauritania. The Islamic Republic of Mauritania is a state in West Africa, which has access to the Atlantic Ocean. The Sahara Desert leaves its traces everywhere in this country, covering everything with sand, even the city streets. It is responsible for many of the country's hardships, such as the lack of water and vegetation, poverty, heat, and dust storms. Mauritania has neither rich resources, nor developed industry, nor tourism. The country's deposits of iron and copper ores are mined by foreign companies and don't actually belong to the local authorities. The country's manufacturing base is the most underdeveloped in Africa. Mauritania is one of the most economically underdeveloped countries in the world. The country is in 131st place in terms of GDP per capita. 40% of the population lives below the poverty line. The unemployment rate in the country is 30%. The average life expectancy is 60 years.
I'm gonna be honest. I feel happy for the people that are unemployed in this country, considering they have modern day slavery. Like, is that counting the slaves as employed?
No, I know. I don't think they're counting the slaves, because technically the slaves are not even counted as citizens in the country. So I don't think the slaves are included.
So then the people that are unemployed are just literally living their lives and are like, fuck dealing with this economy.
So
to be honest, though, it's kind of expected, though, because the country's basically like a war zone. It's like a desert. It's not really a country. It's not really a government. They call it a government, but it's like when you go there, it's like the dude said, it's so undeveloped. The economy's shit. Like, you're better off like doing your own thing, building a shed and doing things on your own than assisting help from the government or getting a job from the government.
What do you say, Coalfire?
Wait. What were you gonna say, Rex?
Then the government would probably label them as rebels because they wouldn't be following their government rules.
Yeah, that's another factor of it. That's probably why genocide probably happens in this country. That's one section.
That's probably why there's there's been like a lot of war in this country, like a lot of war and a lot of corruption too. A lot, like the government's so unstable that they don't even they can't even run the government right, because apparently there's been a bunch of corruption in the government and the government refuses to do anything about it. But the corruption's so poor that the citizens don't even listen to the government.
Well, Coalfire, what do you think?
Yeah, Coalfire, let's hear your opinion on it.
Well, so far, what I'm hearing, it sounds like it's pretty fucked up on the situation with the economics and other things, like the fact that
it gets worse.
The fact that they have to be using slaves just to keep some of their economy afloat is bad on its own.
I think it demonstrates the lack of intelligence. On top of that, it demonstrates the lack of understanding what humanity is. And not only that, but if we're going to talk about morals, it demonstrates why a lot of people, especially like in the United States and the more Western countries, don't care much for the Muslim faith, is because of extremists like this. It's the same kind of extremists that also protest, and this is where it kind of does connect to the U.S. slavery of the Civil War era, is that a lot of those people were extremists to use the Bible. And this is the same method being applied. It's just a different religion. It's why I state all the time that humanity...
it's a different religion and a different book. Like, they basically...
But it's the same logic.
It's the same logic and the same message.
And the same reason.
Instead of heaven, it's Allah.
It's the same tactics, because like how they use the Bible, these people use their own version of the Bible, which is called the Quran. Yeah. And they use the Quran to justify like bombing buildings and like killing people, slaving people. They use the Quran to justify everything. And they actually use the Quran to justify like the slavery too, which is a known fact.
Well, there's a lot of stuff in the Quran specifically around slavery.
Yeah, there's like a lot.
And isn't there a lot about like forced marriage?
Like the Quran,
okay. Triton, if you can stop talking over me real quick. Sharia's law is probably the worst thing in the Quran that people try to use in the modern day. There were some advocates trying to bring it to the U.S., and basically it's what allows them to have slaves. It's what allows them to have forced marriages, and it's the Quran's, like, you know how we have not the Constitution, but you know how we have like the 10 Commandments? The Quran has the Sharia's law, which is pretty. I'm going to bring up Sharia's law actually.
Yeah, let me full screen it for the audience here.
Full text.
The difference being that the Ten Commandments was passed down, was allegedly, depending on who you believe, if you believe it, was passed down from the Lord to help the Israelites stay on the path of righteousness.
Yeah, it's the same structure. It's a religious law that was laid down for the principles of mental, spiritual, and physical behavior.
Yeah.
Here we go. This will go over it.
But I'm sure this is going to get twisted very quickly.
So it brings up the differences in men and women. So misogyny. It has. This doesn't even have all of it. Son of a bitch. Fuck. I hate this shit, bro.
I don't blame you at all, one bit. I hate researching on Google. I don't blame you
either. This shit is like AIDS as fuck.
So it's the path to water, or the way, which is 5 main goals, more or less, 5 major goals of Sharia, which is the concept of there's a lot of shit on it regarding human rights violations, because it's very bad in the sense that it's what allows them to marry children and shit.
I was saying now, in comparison,
where is it?
I was saying in comparison, you should pull up the 10 Commandments to show like the big difference between the two.
Yeah, let me try and do that.
So when it comes to Sharia law, the age of consent is basically nothing.
In a sense, yes.
It's non-existent.
The idea is that once a person hits puberty, that they are perfectly capable of giving birth to children, that you're supposed to do as you feel.
So, it's not really that. It is that, but this is like separate congregations. Hold up.
I'll say that's not. That's the separations.
Where the fuck is it? Trying to find shit on Sharia's law online is just impossible.
Because there's not much known about it comparatively to, as far as the U.S. is concerned, there's not much known about it comparatively to the Bible. Because whether people like it or not, the Constitution was partially inspired by the Bible and some of its morals and principles.
But Sharia's law was brought in by and inspired by the Quran, so essentially they're more or less the same, except the Quran is very barbaric in comparison
to the Constitution of the United States.
There's 5 different schools.
There's got to be like a list somewhere. There's got to be a list where like it says each law and what that law does.
Let's go back to the video, and then while we play the video, while we're commentating on it, I could see if I could find it, because I could do research on my phone.
Sharia allows them to do capital punishment. There's like a whole list. We need someone in here. Coldfire, can you try finding the actual text for Sharia law while we go into the video a little bit further?
Yeah, I can try.
All right.
Appreciate it, homie.
40% of men and 60% of women are illiterate. This country is one of the 10 least visited countries in the world.
I wonder why.
The population of this country is 3.3 million
I know, right?
100% of the population are Muslims.
A little bit. Zoran said he would actually live there. I wonder if he's still here.
Oh
Zoran?
My God.
To be fair, if I owned like a military company and I was like going to exploit the third world for like training, they'd be dropped in this fucking country, and then after they succeeded here, they'd be in Iraq.
Wait, don't they?
Like, I mean, I'm just being honest. If I was gonna exploit like third worlds and make like a paramilitary company that's just like paid to fucking do whatever they're fucking paid to do, that's how I would do it. And I bet you 95% of the warlords that existed for like the African cartels and shit probably came from these kind of countries, if not worse.
I bet you the military actually does that shit where they drop military people to these third world countries to see if they can survive and shit. I think they actually do that.
I mean, they already mentioned companies mining their ore and shit on the country, so there's no doubt there's paramilitary guarding that shit.
Yeah,
I'm kind of doubtful
100%.
of the U.S., but we will see. Because then again,
Coca-Cola hired death squads in Venezuela.
that's Coca-Cola for you.
Really?
Like, that's confirmed.
I forget why they hired them.
Illegal battle. Apparently, that's a whole separate subject that I would love to cover. But Coca-Cola hired death squads in Venezuela and Colombia.
Yeah, I forget the reason why, because I remember hearing about it.
A shit ton of people.
We can cover that on Monday's episode. We'll talk more about it off air.
But yeah, we'll go ahead and play this.
50% of the working population is employed in agriculture, 10% in industry, and 40% in the service sector. Mauritania is the last state in the world where slave owners don't get persecuted. Despite the official abolition of slavery, first in 1980, Mauritania was the last country in the world where it was still allowed. And then in 2007, de facto, about 20% of the population of Mauritania are slaves. There are no reliable statistics on how many slaves there are in Mauritania because the country's government doesn't take them into account during the census and denies the very fact of their existence. However, according to human rights activists, up to 740,000 of the country's residents actually remain in slavery to this day.
Okay, so that just made the point that Trenton made earlier about how little they actually know about how proactive or retroactive the slavery is, to the degree that your own government is like, we don't count as people. They don't really count to the ballot, man. They're just here.
Jesus
well,
Christ.
It's mainly also they're using the fact because like the country probably has no access to technology, so it's easier for them to lie because like there's nobody there to like document it because there's nobody there with like internet, Wi-Fi, or anything. So we don't know what's going on besides like, you know, what human rights activists tells us and what people in the country like expose basically.
Hey, Goldfire, how's
and
that
that's why the
research on
government
Sharia
tries
law?
to lie. Hold on, we'll wait. Well, let's finish the video, then we'll get to that after.
Okay.
Thus, Mauritania is the largest stronghold of traditional slavery on the planet. Most of the slaves are black people owned by the ruling class of Berbers. Slaves don't have any personal, economic, or political rights. Both men and women are enslaved, and the children born into slavery become the property of the slave owners.
That's
the
That is
Mauritanian government
disgusting.
denies the existence
That
of
is
slaves.
disgusting. That's like
You pause it real
disgusting
quick?
Illegal to
behavior.
own slaves.
What?
Where do I begin on that one? Where do I begin on that one?
I say we let Tim take this one. Tim started.
Yeah, go ahead, Tim. Go off, King. Go off, King.
Okay, so what? So I'm understanding this that about 700,000 people are slaves, if I'm understanding that correctly. Okay,
That's a rough estimate because keep in mind they aren't
I'm even sloping it a little bit.
People.
I'm
Which
literally
is absolutely horrendous.
I am being generous right now because I actually think that number was higher than that. But I'm going to be generous and say, generous in like the biggest world, like the world's largest air quotation marks, generous. That how much of a percentage was male slaves again? Then they say it was like 60, 70%, something like that.
40%, 60.
40, 60.
40 men and then 60 women.
Okay, so
60%.
Yeah.
So let's how about we split down the middle, 50-50. It's 50-50, right? Because I would imagine you would need both in order to have children when I'm going to get and all that.
I feel like a female slave usually ends up with the worst treatment.
I'll get into that one in a minute.
100%. Yeah, no.
I'm gonna.
I'll get into
that in a second.
In the Muslim religion, they treat women worse. So yeah, like they definitely treat the female slaves way worse than the male slaves.
But let me continue on. And you're telling me, nobody, not a fucking soul, has not once taken a look and gone, maybe we should do something about this. And I'm especially going to say that's about the United States because of a little key thing called Vietnam. Considering we were willing to do that.
Tim's. They don't have oil.
I'm sure there's some oil fucking somewhere. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. If they found oil everywhere fucking else, there's going to be some oil there too. Guarantee it.
So we need oil to free the slaves. That's the goal.
That's pretty much so. What I'm getting to is that what I'm understanding here is that nobody gives a flying fuck about these people. The government is more fucking useless than the U.S. government, which I don't even know how you managed to accomplish that one. Congratulations to get a gold star.
At least the U.S. government has an economy, even though the economy is pretty much yeah.
So
at least the U.S. government can provide technology for the country. Like this country, they're sleeping in tents, basically. But basically, like the citizens of this country.
Oh, I'm sorry, Tim's. Do you not have Wi-Fi right now?
Wi-Fi is provided independently of the government. Do you want to go to third
world to experience before you laugh at the fact that Triton's comment on U.S. technology?
See, the U.S. government does not provide technology. That is a company providing technology. Get it right. The government does not give a fuck about you.
Hold on.
They don't even have a company, bro. They don't even have a building to put their fucking shoes up on a fucking shoe rack.
I didn't even get to finish my point here because there was another point I was going to make.
Let's stop talking over each other. I want to make the point real quick, Tim's. That's what I've been trying to say. They don't have companies to provide any Wi-Fi. They have no access to it because they don't have.
They barely have buildings.
They have nothing.
Yeah, because it looks like all the guys fucking. And I was literally getting to that point. But nobody was letting me finish because, like I was saying before,
it's because everyone kept on talking. Like we need to make sure, you let me finish my point, then you go. But I pretty much finished my point. Yeah, they have nothing, but you can go ahead and continue.
That was my point. Was that so? You telling me the government doesn't care about people, and you've got all these human activists,
human traffickers in their country.
Not only that, I was trying to finish something.
Don't cut him off, Ned. I think I know what he was about to say. Go ahead, Tim.
So you're telling me you got all these groups that are all about human rights. You're telling me you got these governments, like the U.S. government, that's all about freeing slaves and helping other countries. And they do all these wonderful works for the countries. These third world countries they're called. They're not called third world anymore. Developing countries. They're called developing countries. If you didn't know, that's the politically correct term now. Yes.
Yeah, I'm not lying about that. Correct term.
But anyhow, that's besides the point.
I'm still gonna follow Trump's advice on calling them shitholes.
Again, not touching that on a 10-foot pole. My point is that you've got all these governments, you got all these groups, and you're telling me nobody, not a single soul, is actually trying to step in and help. Nobody's trying to get them food, clean water, access to any kind of technology that might be able to help them, not bringing any kind of policing or military that could help them, not bothering to give them any sort of human fucking decency. You're telling me they're just going to make videos and that's about it. That's where it's just going to die, and these people just get to suffer. Is that what I'm understanding here? Because that's pretty fucked up.
Let me say my point real quick, Triton.
Go ahead.
Do you remember the photo, the National Geographic photo that the photographer took? That the same photographer that took it killed himself.
Yeah, the kid who was laying on the desert ground and was literally starving to death.
As the vulture was right next to him, waiting.
Yeah, just waiting for death to finally hit.
Yeah, that's the same concept as this country. If you think every country that states that we should help these people, it's not about that. It's never been about helping people. That's the patriotic Kool-Aid. Until we find oil or a reason to exploit or use these people, no governments give a fuck.
And not only that, but I don't even think this country really has any allies. I don't think it's allied with the U.S. or any of these countries that help out. Because you gotta understand, the U.S. only helps out its allies or countries that will benefit us. This country is not going to benefit us because they have nothing. They don't even have buildings. They probably don't even have toilets.
This is very similar outside to Guam a little bit when you think about it. Actually, the only reason the U.S. ever helped Guam was because of the Cold War and the fact that it was a fecal point for missile silos and shit, that if a imminent threat from during the Cold War era occurred, Guam would be the first one that in its radius to catch a launch and shit. So that's the only reason the US pulled into Guam and the Navy stationed in Guam. That's the only reason the US gave a shit about Guam.
I was going to say, so why did it go to Nicaragua? That's another one I've seen, and it's been very recent too. What's the reasoning there then? Because I hadn't heard of any oil or any supplies coming back from there. And I know because quite a few of the churches I used to work for did a lot of missionary work there and a lot of human resources work.
How the fuck do I spell Nicaragua?
I forget the fucking spelling of it, honestly.
I got it.
Nigeria is the other one.
Yeah, that's partially part of Brazil, isn't it?
It's part of Central America.
It's also
Colombia, El Salvador, Costa Rica. Yeah, because that's where the drug trades are. That's why.
Not only that too, but it's
the war on drugs.
They're allied to it's probably because they're an ally to the U.S. This country is not even an ally to the U.S., France, or any of the countries. So they're not going to give a fuck. Like the United Alliance is not going to give a fuck unless these countries are connected. Yeah, United Nations.
Central America and Dominican Republic Free Trade Agreement is why we allied with Nicaragua. Because of trade, because of open market, eliminating tariffs, reducing barriers to services, and promoting transparency.
Pretty much on capitalism.
And Tim, you're not the only...
In a sense.
Yeah, because they had things... They had money. They had an economy. We're talking about a country that doesn't even have that.
There's a point I want to make. The point is, like, we're not going to help. Like, no country's going to help any other country unless they're benefiting for it. Because it's like they see it as business. They're not going to they're not going to get they're not going to give a free handout to a country unless they're benefiting something. Like the U.S. is not going to give a free handout to Monawica and help them out.
Nicaragua. I don't know. I can't even say that one right.
I can't even say that. No, I'm talking about this country. I can't even say a lot of these like African countries. I could barely say, but
I have to be careful with how I pronounce it.
But they can't. They're not going to help. They're not going to help this country because they don't want to give these countries a free handout, basically. Because that's the thing. The U.S. could help this country out and help out any country they want, and these countries could be stable. But they just don't want to unless they benefit from it, because they see it as a free handout and they see it as they're getting used or some shit.
See, and that's the point I was making with Guam. It's Guam became a territory because of where it existed, because of the fact that during the Cold War there needed to be more sonar, more like detection systems and bases for more rapid response in the attack, in the evidence of an attack.
Rex and go ahead.
So, in the evidence of an attack.
Go ahead. All right. Does Rex and Rex Coldfire? Do any of you gentlemen have any input at the moment? Zoran's
been quiet this whole time. I think he feels.
Oh. Yeah, I agree with you on the fact that the United States will take any country that's underdeveloped but has so many resources to benefit its own economy. Like, it's literally...
And this country literally has nothing. Like, and that's probably why it's like the 10th least visited country in the whole entire world, because... that's how shit it is. That's how bad it is. It's basically nothing. It probably shouldn't even be considered a country, to be honest, because of how underdeveloped it is. It's probably below a third world, to be honest, because it's not even like really developed, because it's not really, at least like Iraq and Turkey and countries like that, at least they have buildings. This country doesn't even have built like how do you say that this country does in the video? Because like I know it starts with the M. Montuita, whatever, however you say it, has nothing. But can you go back to
Mauritania?
Montuita. Okay.
Mautria.
Sounds like you're saying North Korea.
I can't even say it.
Matria. You know what? I'm calling it Matria, just so I can say it better. Matria. Yeah, basically Montreal like has basically jack shit. But let's go back to the video because the good shit, we haven't even got to the good shit yet.
Okay. But every U.S. territory.
Wait, don't open. Yeah, go back to the video because we gotta. Because I want actually.
Well, I was gonna bring this up real quick because this goes back to Tim's point a little bit. Every country that the U.S. literally labeled as a territory was labeled as a territory either by economic standards, military standards, or of some compatible benefit to the U.S. ultimately. And because of that, that's how their economy grew. Because of more trade.
Yeah.
We are one of the biggest importers in the world.
And it used to be exporter, but that has long since not been a thing.
But Hawaii wouldn't exist without our tourist market economically.
I'll say, and some of the biggest manufacturers of technology, since we want to talk about technology real quick, Taiwan's one of the biggest ones, considering that's where we get almost all of our semiconductors from, is from the Taiwanese Semiconductor Company.
Right, yeah.
And then Japan's also a chunk of that, too.
It used to be, no, China's not, hasn't been in like 10, maybe 12 years.
China is stealing our NVIDIA graphics cards.
Yep.
We're trying to.
Well, it was, but then the tariff ban came on them, and then NVIDIA tried to get around that, and then they got hit. They tried to get around it again. They got threatened with a lawsuit. Then they tried it one more time, and then the government said, okay, we'll let you. But continue with the video.
Forced labor isn't prohibited in the country. Slaves do all the dirtiest and hardest work. Typical tasks the slaves get are working in the fields, caring for livestock, and serving in the house. Slavery in Mauritania arose as a result of some historical events. Arabic-speaking Moors raided African villages for centuries, which resulted in a rigid caste system that still exists today. The dark-skinned slaves still serve their fair-skinned masters, Arabs. The descendants of the black population enslaved many generations ago make up the Heriton caste. Slavery is hereditary, which means that the children of slaves belong to the masters of their parents, and even de jure freed slaves virtually continue to live as slaves, unable to manage the money they earn.
Okay, so I'm gonna pause it right here on this perfect view of their little town.
Oh my god!
Does any of that look like anything you would want to live at, Tim's?
Fuck no. This is it goes back to my point that all these countries say they want to do these things, that they're claiming to do these things, but you got countries like this that don't even have a fucking building for somebody to sleep in.
You want to know something else that's really sad to think about too?
You like no one understand my anger?
We give aid to Pakistan, and they actively attack us.
That's my fucking point.
Do terrorist attacks. So, like, when you think about it, we give aid to terrorists.
But we don't give a flying fuck about this country right here.
Meanwhile, this little country that just has a slavery problem that could be fixed in, like, probably 3 days' time without conflict. Like,
one day's time, given how strong our military is, because we can easily encircle them, like tenfold encircle them with every one of our military, and still wouldn't have to get any of our special forces in. That's how strong we are, and we could negotiate it out with no problem. But no, I guess it's too fucking much, isn't it?
Again, this goes back to
we'll sell our secrets to China. We'll sell our nuclear secrets to China instead. Fucking idiot.
But this goes back to what I was saying earlier. It's a religious thing. And no country can impose on the religious freedoms of other individuals.
Yeah.
But they abolished slavery.
Basically.
That doesn't make sense. If you abolish slavery, then religion should not be allowed to play a role in that.
We abolished slavery on our own territory. We are talking about a country with its own nationality, with its own culture, and with its own ideological value. You can't go and put boots on the ground to enforce an ideological value without sounding exactly like the Nazis or the terrorists over in Pakistan.
Then explain to me why the United Nations banned it, and why did the European Union ban it?
I am in no way defending slavery.
Listen. Hold on. I want to respond to his point, right? Because you said, why did the United Nations ban it? That's the United Nations. This country is not a part of the United Nations, so technically,
The U.S. is.
Hold on, wait, hold on. Wait. No. Hold on. You're not finishing my point. The United Nations can't do anything about what's going on in Monterrey, whatever you call that, this stupid country, because this country is not a part of the United Nations, so they can't do anything about it.
They're not on any grand stage to be able to say, "Hey, we need help." They literally shot themselves in the foot.
But, the United Nations don't really want to get involved in these African countries because there are several like African countries that still have like slavery and shit, and like there's like a lot of these, which we'll cover all those other countries as well within like the future as the show progresses. But anyways, because like they don't want to continue because Africa is a different environment and it's a different world than Europe and countries in the United Nations. So we're not going to go and involve ourselves in different cultures and different environment.
Like if this was a country, a part of Europe, we could make that argument that like, oh yeah, we should totally be involved because they're part of the US nation or the NATO, right? Or the United Nations and shit. But they're not. Like there's a European country, I can't remember which one it was. I think it's Albania, but I could be wrong, that does have modern day slavery. There's one Europe country that does. And I have no idea.
Oh, well, you'll have to I'll research that off air as well, and we'll have to we might cover that next week then.
I have a thing to mention. The thing is if you look at history of Africa, it did have a lot of European occupation.
Occupants.
Yeah.
Occupation.
A lot of them left and gave up in a way because of the stuff that like was how much of a bad area it was in the end.
It was a Dutch India company introduced slavery into this country in the 18th century.
Interesting.
Wow. Just what was I expecting from the Dutch though? I don't know why I was expecting anything better.
So it started with Arabs, then the 16th century it was Portuguese, and then at some point it was Italians. So this place has been ransacked by multiple countries way before they did it themselves.
Not a fucking one of them. What the fuck?
1598, the second Dutch expedition to Indonesia. They ended up on this in this area, in that country. If I got the right country, I'm pretty sure I do.
Fucking believable.
Then it was French ruled.
Of course.
Then it was British ruled.
Why am I not shocked?
And then it became its own independent thing in 1961 when the British agreed to permit an additional self-government and eventual independence.
Well, doesn't it technically doesn't it the Arabs rule it now since it's technically
yes, it is the Marxist Labour Party, which are 4 political parties. The Mauritian militant movement, militant socialist movement, Parti Mauritian Social Democrat, and all of them are pretty much pro-slavery from 1936. It was founded, and it led all the way from 1936 to 2014 and technically it still exists. I imagine.
Oh, no, it definitely still exists.
Oh yeah,
wow.
From 1991 to now, and the guy that leads it is a very light-skinned individual that's not even white.
Let me zoom in for the audience members so they can see him. And fuck that guy.
He's the leader. He was the leader of opposition from 91 to 95. Served as prime minister.
And he allowed slavery to happen.
Yep.
Obviously.
Fuck that
he
guy.
Met with the Obamas. Unless I got the wrong country. It's possible I got the wrong country.
I kind of hope you do, but we'll find out in a second.
Because I'm pretty sure this is how you say it, right?
Hey, let's just go back to the video.
Yep.
Okay.
God damn.
Back to video.
The owners of the enslaved Mauritanians treat them like property. They don't pay them for their labor. They often beat them, and they can give them or rent them out. In Mauritania, a slave can be sold. Slaves are sold only on the...
I was right. So yeah, Obama literally visited this motherfucker that runs the slave trade
my
in
frustration. You see.
Oh, we see your frustration. It's
This just makes me sick to my stomach.
Listen, hold on, Tim. We don't even disagree with you. I'm just giving you the harsh reality of no one really gives a shit. And yeah, it sucks that they don't give a shit, but that's just a harsh reality.
They even have.
And I agree with you. They should give. I mean, honestly, like they should give a shit, and like for us to be good morals in the world, yeah, like we should be helping these countries, but they don't see it as like how normal average Joes like us see it. They see it more as a business mindset of if we're not benefiting from it, then it's a waste of time. That's how they see it. That's how the government sees it.
That's how a lot of government, probably every government sees it.
Yeah, go back to the video. We could do more research like after. I just want to get the video done, and then
I just want to check something right now, real quick. Yeah. Okay.
Yep, it's right.
Domestic market. The cost per person is about $100.
Obama shook hands with
them. The population lives on less than $2 a day. And that's a lot of money.
Wow.
Go back to the video.
We're on the video.
Work for wear and tear throughout their short lives. Those who do not submit or try to escape are beaten to death. Slave owners claim that punishment enhances discipline and prevents attempts at disobedience. The reports of human rights activists describe the terrible and sophisticated tortures to which slaves are subjected. For example, filling the insides of a person with insects, inserting a red-hot stake into their anus, breaking their joints, etc. Puritans are brought
pause it. This is what I was talking about earlier. So let me get this straight, right? If you don't want to be slaved, you're gonna get shoved with insects in your
no.
anus.
This is if there are. Wait, Triton. Let me make sure. This is if they try to run away.
Yeah, basically, I was right. Basically, if they run away and don't want to be slaves, basically, if they try to run away from slavery, they're going to get a big, huge stake in their anus. And it's hot, too, meaning it's going to burn the shit out of you. It's like big, like, it's something.
There's a sizzle.
Here's what I say to this.
How do you, wait, hold on. How does that even possible, though? Like, how does a big, huge red stake fit in your, like, how is that even possible?
It's spiked. Triton.
It's a literal spike.
It's like a stab. It's like a poker.
It's like a spear.
You ever seen those like
it probably kills a motherfucker. It's definitely brutal, 100%.
Technically, it cauterizes the wound because it is red hot, but you're still going to be in a lot of fucking pain, and you're going to probably wish you were dead.
And you probably wish you were dead.
You know what I say to that? I say to all those fuckers who do that, all those slaves, there's a special room in hell just for them, and I guarantee it that it exists, and that those motherfuckers are heading there, and fuck them. I hope they do. Fuckers.
I'm starting to GoFundMe right now, so that way we can get Tim's a first-class plane trip or boat ride to Mauritanius.
I'll drag your ass with me, and we'll take it over.
Mauritius. We're going to give you a first-class ride. Before, we were going to send Coldfire to North Korea, but I think sending Tim's here would be the best experience.
No, I'll drag your ass with me, motherfucker.
We'll just give him a
drag
GoPro.
Your ass
there you
with
go,
me.
Bro. Go on.
No, your ass is coming with me. Your ass is coming with me, and I'm bringing my 40 cal with me as well.
Hold on. Everybody's talking over everybody.
Go ahead, Jordan.
I want to say something to Coldfire real quick. Fire, you could probably take over this country. Like in the last episode, you said you wanted to take over North Korea. Try to take over this country. It'd probably be way more easier because they don't even have buildings. They have nothing. Like you can just go in there with a machine. You can go in there with a machine gun and kill them all. Hold on, they probably don't even have. Hold on. They probably don't even have any weapons.
Yes, they
probably
do.
just have bows and arrows.
They 100% have weapons.
Oh, I guarantee you they have assault rifles.
Weapons.
It's Africa.
They don't have.
It is Africa. They are the kings of guerrilla warfare and murder.
More than likely, they have. More
If they're involved in sex trafficking, human slavery, they're gonna have fucking machine guns, Triton.
More than likely, they're gonna have Soviet Union era AK-47s, AK-47Us,
surplus shit.
The Malachi, I think it's the name of the machete. It's a specially curved machete that's designed to wrap around the human scar. That literally
spell that for me.
I fucking can't remember how to spell it to save my goddamn life.
You know what? I got it.
The crotchet, I believe.
I'm just gonna look up third world machete.
Yeah, no, that's not it. No, it's not it. The blade's a little more curved than that. That one. That's the one. That's designed to wrap around the skull and take it off with a single hit.
Damn.
There was like 4chan posted videos of like machete killings in third world countries that I used to watch.
I'm gonna say that's one of the excuse me for interrupting you, but that's actually one of the favorite weapons that the Mexican cartel love to use to behead their victims. That's also one of the favorites for ISIS to use when ISIS was still in extreme power.
There was also so back to my point. So they would purposely chip the blades of the machetes because it would make the wound harder to heal. So you'd be wounded for months instead of just days.
Damn.
Or they would intentionally dull the blade so it would take more strikes, so you would suffer more as they struck you each time around.
Even though they're evil as shit, they are still very smart. I'm not gonna lie.
And that's why I said there's a special room in hell just for every one of those motherfuckers. A special room in hell.
I feel like most people that come from like the third world, like coming to America, would just think we're all soft and pussies, and they're not wrong. Ain't none of us had to go without water or food once in our lives.
I mean,
ain't none of us
it's
fucking.
Not just America either. It's not just America either. They probably like if they go to the UK, they're gonna think the same thing because like the countries like the US, Canada, UK, countries like us, like
established countries with good economy.
Like we've never. Hold on, wait! Don't talk over me. Let me finish my point, and I'll let you respond. But countries like us, like. We don't have like villages, deserts where we could just get killed and shit. And we don't have like everyday war like they do. So they'd see us as a bunch of pussies that have never seen real shit.
I was gonna say
I've actually don't know what an Xbox is.
I've actually spoke to a couple.
They don't know what an Xbox is. They don't know what YouTube. They probably don't.
I was gonna say
they probably don't even know what a computer is.
I was going to say, I've actually got to speak to a couple of people who live in those kind of countries, and they say they wish they could stay here in this country. They wish they didn't have to have a green card. They could sneak their way here because they would have freedom and safety. No fucking joke.
I'm all for.
I've actually heard that testimony myself, and I feel awful for them.
Third worlders here.
Hold on. Can you Rex was trying to speak, and
go ahead, Rex.
Rex, go ahead.
And that's what's happening today. They're allowing those same people in there.
Yeah. But I'm honestly not against immigration policy as long as people follow it properly, get their visas and actually.
They're not really following it there.
It's not so much those people aren't following, it's the people in office who are refusing to enforce it. And then when the states step up to do it, they attack the states.
And they attack the people that rebuke it. They say, hey, make these people more tolerable. But no, they're the ones that are arrested because it's a hate crime, apparently.
Yeah, hate crime.
There was an African guy. He was from South or East Africa that I worked with at Walmart for like a while. And he would go and he would cut produce, right? Because he was really good. Because our produce knives are like that long. They're like basically like mini machetes for like the kitchen staff.
Makes sense.
And he knew exactly how to wield a machete-sized blade perfectly fine to cut a watermelon without a concern or worry. And I would sit there and I'd watch him, and he was teaching me some a little bit, right? And I asked him, I'm like, what do you think of gun rights in America? And he was like, why do I need a gun? I raised shooting a gun. I do not need a gun in this country. Like perfect, like African accent and everything. And in his mind, like he was raised in those war-torn kind of environment. And to him, being in America, he knew he was safe because he never had to experience that environment here on our borders in our country.
No.
And that comes from the decades of how our culture was done, comparatively how a lot of Africa was done. And that's also due to the fact of what the founding fathers had planted about over 2 centuries ago. And then it goes farther back than that, as far as like the kings and dictators.
I mean, to be fair, all you would need to fuck over America is if you went in like an alternate timeline and gave them a Quran instead of a Bible.
No, just letting Hitler win the war.
Yeah, bingo.
I mean, yeah,
there's a million different timelines that could be experienced in that.
Almost said the Quran when the founding fathers will look at the Quran and go, "What the fuck is this?" and throw it.
No, I'm saying if like you turn the founding fathers Arab instead of American.
Also, you would need to turn the king.
Like, worshippers of Allahs and shit. And then you end up with like Sharia's law in America, and then America would be just like this country real fucking fast.
I'm not saying you don't even need to do that. You would just need to.
I'm saying from like 1600s.
Well, it's 1776. What you would need to do, then all you really need to do in that particular case is just win the court cases that involve Sharia law, and that'd be it. You wouldn't need to do any of that.
But I'm saying like on a parallel timeline, Sims. Imagine America, but without the Constitution entirely.
So you would have Russia, basically.
No, you would have this country that we're talking about right here.
Yeah, you would have we'll basically, like, we wouldn't be on the show right now. We'll be fighting in war or all probably dead because either dead, enslaved, or we will be the ones enslaving people.
Probably would be in a cage as a test animal. They would think he's a monkey the whole time.
Oh, God. Why can I picture that, too? Why am I picturing that?
Understand autism. That's why.
Why am I picturing that? They got fucking hot pokers. Like, come on, do math.
Do math.
I mean,
tell us your opinions on the world. Come on.
Who are you? Where'd you come from? God, I should not be making these jokes. I'm going to get canceled for this.
All right, so we'll go and continue. Zoran, you got any opinions on this wonderful country?
Honestly, I would live there.
Okay.
Somebody's on crack.
I want to hear your reasonings. Why would you live there?
Please tell me.
Well, I mean, slaves.
Slaves.
I know who's going to get assassinated when the next election comes around.
Best farm. If Zoran lived there, he would have the best farm.
And I
already have a whip.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm going to get canceled just because I happen to...
Hold on. Already see what our critics are going to say. They're going to be like, Brighton's allowing racist jokes about serious topics on the show.
Oh, I already know the fuckers are going to post it too. People. And then they're going to tag me in it too. And I'm like, motherfucker, most of my friends are black.
But we're not mentioning name. We're not mentioning no name. I'm just saying critics. I'm not even saying.
That's why I said I know who you're talking about. I never said their name. I just said I know the fuckers who you're talking about.
Anyway, I'm getting back to the video.
Anyways, we can unpause the
breaking
video.
Their joints, etc. Puritans are brought up in such a way that they perceive working for their masters as their religious duty. Slave owners teach them from early childhood that it is only through obedience and devoted service that they would get to go to heaven after death. The dark skin of the Haritans is considered unclean.
Yeah, this is what I brought up
they are
earlier.
forbidden to touch the Quran and visit mosques. In Mauritania, the saying "paradise is at the feet of your master" is very common. Its meaning is that the path to salvation lies in unquestioning obedience. To this day, the descendants of slaves often don't get a passport at birth. They don't go to school and don't have access to health care. The exception is the residents of the capital.
I'm gonna be
do
honest.
they even have healthcare there?
That's what I was going to say. I'm like, How the fuck do they have healthcare? They're literally living in nowhere in houses made out of random shit.
Not only that, but they don't even have like a doctor's office. They don't have technologies or anything.
They probably don't even have a fucking school. So, like, I don't understand this part of the video.
Do they even have like paper where they can write the healthcare information down? They don't even have paper, I don't think.
What was up with the passports? Like, you've already told us what the punishment was going to be if they get caught. So, what do you mean?
What do you mean on like the passport? Like, they're not the passport. Like, this country's so poor. Like, this one.
I guarantee you, they have no education.
There was a few clips of this video, though.
What education are they talking about?
Their education system is only up till they turn 11.
Oh, fuck. Unbelievable.
So lazy they are.
Oh.
That's not laziness. That's slavery, boy.
That's fucking the most.
Slavery.
Oh,
I'm
my
talking,
God.
No. Hold on. Wait. Hold on. No, I'm not talking about the slave, because that's the thing. The slaves don't even get school.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying this country, literally, from the children from the age of 5 to 11 go to primary school. Then they're admitting and gradually moves on to standard 6. They basically do have an education program, but I have no doubt that it's probably garbage.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Not only that, but the slave. Not only that, it's probably garbage, but the slaves don't even go there. Like, the slaves are not even allowed to go there, because, like he said in the video, the slaves are not allowed to have access to basically anything. They're basically just there to work as property. They're basically property. That's all they are, is just property.
And what's even worse? Go ahead, Rex.
There we go.
No, I'm just saying that they have to accept it, because you know what they said earlier? You'll get punished very badly by the red hot spear up your butt.
You want to know something
Peace
sad?
at the feet of the master. Fuck every one of those slave owners.
It wasn't. It's not. Hold on, Rex. It wasn't. It's not. Hold on. Wait, Rex. It's not a spear. It's a stake.
I don't know what's the difference.
So a spear is a weapon that
you guys want to know something sad.
A spear is, or a stake is often what you use to stake something on, like shove something in. For example, think of Vlad the Impaler. Imagine that, but instead of a wooden stake, it's a metal one that's heated to 1500 degrees or more, that's shoved up your anus. That's what they're talking about. Fuck every one of them. Fuck them.
You can get a PhD in this country.
What?
Yeah, you can get a master's and a doctorate in this country.
For fucking what? Shoving stakes up people's asses? Are you fucking serious?
I don't know where the fuck. That's apparently a thing.
Oh, I need to do a double take. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Their literacy rate is 0. They have a 0 literacy rate. Ain't no one know how to read there.
Oh god, I thought I sucked at it. Jesus Christ.
How are they supposed
in
to
2020 it was 0. In 2021 it was 66.96. Apparently.
Somebody's fudging the numbers. Somebody's fudging the numbers.
From 0 to like 60% in 1 year.
Yeah, in less than a year, basically.
What is this? The fucking 2020 elections and somebody's fudging the numbers? What the hell's going on?
Yeah, anyways, get back to the video. Let's finish the video.
62% of their population are illiterate.
Fucking kill
saying
me.
paradise is at the feet of your master is flesh toward at birth.
Okay,
Residents of the capital and its environs. Many of them do get documents and primary education.
Black population.
However, the wind of change hasn't reached the inhabitants
our own country
of remote provinces. That is, half the population of the country.
Yeah, only half the population actually get education.
And a small political party. The government
and only half the population actually get human rights.
Less than half, probably.
I would probably say less than 30%. That would be the number I would bet on.
Right? Like, there's no official numbers on the slavery, so they could just be labeling like their genuine populace of what they apparently have listed that aren't slaves as literate when they probably aren't. I want to role play with one of these motherfuckers.
You have fun with that.
Zoran, can you imagine role playing with someone from like a third world country that can't even read? Would that not be fun? I feel like that would be an adventure, Zoran.
I don't think they'd even be able to comprehend
anything.
Basically,
you couldn't. It would be the one person you can tell to that, like when you tell them to read the lore, you can't blame them when they don't read it.
They would probably cry from the sheer confusion of it.
I want to play D&D. I want to go. We need to send Coldfire in here to this country to play D&D with them.
You all are fucking horrible people. I'm just saying. You all are fucking horrible people.
Who knows?
No, their country's horrible. I'm just pointing out their flaws.
No, you should be giving them education, not fucking teaching them how to play D&D. Because if they can't read, how the fuck are they going to know what the fuck the game is?
You know what we do? We go to this country, me and Triton get like gay married, and we adopt one kid from this country and then raise him to be like the ultimate Chad and dictator warlord of their country, and then just drop him back off in it, and then he stabilizes their country overnight.
I'd rather shove a red hot steak in my anus than do that.
You two are fucking unbelievable in ways that I need to shield my eyes so I can keep the embarrassment away from me.
Without the U.S. having to be involved and give them aid.
The U.S. is getting involved anyhow because we're from the U.S. Oh my god. Ah! I'm going to have a heart attack on this video. I'm going to have a heart attack. I'm going to drop dead. And then I guess somebody's going to adopt my dead corpse.
Hey, go back to the videos because I do got to go soon.
I will, but I just want to pull this up real quick.
Then Obama shook fucking hands with him.
And stop getting sidetracked.
I just want to pull this up real quick. The leader of this country met with Obama. I will not stop talking about this because it is such a funny little thing.
Fucking send me that picture afterwards.
A current modern day slave owner meeting with Obama, the president of a country that abolished slavery 300 plus years ago.
Fucking unbelievable. That's going to be the thumbnail of this video. That's going to be the thumbnail.
Man, good for the slave.
That's got to be the thumbnail of this video. I don't care. That's got to be the thumbnail right there because everybody needs to fucking know about this.
All right, continue the video, please.
For human rights in 1999, but it isn't known to have taken any action. There are reports of police complicity in slavery, as well as the imprisonment of activists of non-governmental organizations dealing with forced labor and slavery. The government banned the use of the word slave in the media. The liberation and rehabilitation of slaves in Mauritania is only done by local and international non-governmental organizations.
Wait, but what media do they even have?
They have a media, bud. They have schools. You can get a PhD in their country. I don't know if you can go far with it, but you can get a PhD in their country.
What the fuck? What the fuck?
I mean, they're controlling the media, so they're pretty much a dictatorship when you really think about it.
Trine, you weren't lying. You were not lying when you said this country was worse than North Korea. You were not fucking lying. This beats North Korea.
People don't even know they're being controlled. These people actively are aware that there is no control and they're just stuck in the life that they got.
Fucking, I would rather 10 times be stuck in North Korea than to be stuck there. Legitimately. I didn't think I would ever see the day where I would say that, but I did. And I want to shoot myself because I said that.
So can we go back to Tim's? How much do I have to pay you to make you go to North Korea?
I said $1 million. I'm raising it to $10 million because at least I was there, my family will be okay.
Right. If for any amount of money, you have to choose between North Korea or this country.
North Korea. I already said it. I already picked it. We're done.
And I don't know, man. At least here you get internet if you bring your own hotspot.
Yes, I'm going to fucking. Yes, I'm going to bring my hotspot where I'm going to get probably shot and killed.
At least you can actually survive. You can have a chance of surviving here than North Korea because here they don't have North Korea has more technologies where they can kill you. Here they I mean, they can kill you, but they don't have like the spyware and shit, or they can't track you down. Like you can go build a hut and hide out, and
You dig a
hopefully
hole.
they don't find you.
I guarantee you,
Yeah,
somehow, somebody they'll find you. I guarantee it. They'll find you.
Diggy hole, diggy hole. Diggy, diggy,
Can you video, please? Because I gotta go.
Oh my God! All
Although
of
some
you.
observers note the gradual decrease in the number of enslaved Mauritanians, the situation is exacerbated by the influx of.
How can you say that there's a decrease in slavery when they don't even keep track of slavery numbers?
Yeah, there's probably an increase in that shit.
Oh, my brain is rotting out of my
Thousands of
skull.
refugees from neighboring Mali, where military conflict has been ongoing since 2012. There are several factors that get in the way of the implementation of significant changes in this matter. They are the lack of alternative options to earn a living and lack of protection, high levels of illiteracy, limited access to information, as well as separation of family.
How do they have any information? They live in a desert.
Who the fuck's
With
bringing
nothing.
information in? There's gotta be another country involved with this. There has to be.
Yeah, they just mentioned Mali that they're apparently in war with,
That must
which
be
is
the.
West Africa. So now we're getting to like
Let's just finish the
civil
video before
Africa.
we
Oh
look
yeah,
anything
it's
up.
no. I'm just bringing it up because so Mali is in conflict with Mauritania, right? And then you got Libya over there. You got Chad. But like, here's my question, right? All of these places suck. Like this is a hot spot of terrorism and just attacks and like natural like problems, right?
Yeah, but then so's America.
America is
I don't know,
nowhere
John.
near. Nowhere near
Like,
their
at least
numbers.
you can go to school. At least you ain't enslaved till you die.
I'm gonna say
Even if you're
America's
not
nowhere.
black. What do
Isn't
they
it-
have the children do while they're slaves? That's my question.
Oh God, I don't even want to.
What do the like toddlers do? What, clean the fucking
I
sand
don't
off the
wanna
fucking
know.
out of the house, which is just a hut? Like, I'm being real. Like, they don't have a house. They don't have like what are the kids doing?
Yeah,
I don't even want to begin to think about it.
Continue.
All right.
High levels of illiteracy, limited access to information, as well as separation of family members and the use of methods of control by the slave owners, including influence through religion. It has all led to a deep-rooted acceptance of the victim's inherited status as slaves. In 2007, slavery in Mauritania was criminalized. And in 2015, the authorities toughened the punishment for it from 10 to 20 years in prison. Moreover, special courts were created to try the cases of slave owners, while the victims were offered free legal assistance.
What assistance? What assistance?
They get free.
Don't pause it yet. Hold on. It's about to explain.
However, according to media reports, the perpetrators have been punished only 3 times in recent years. In 2011, the slave owner was sentenced to 6 months in prison, and 2 more were sentenced to 5 years in 2016. But 4 of those
You
years
could pause
were
it now.
suspended.
So basically, that whole thing of the 10, 20 years thing, that was just propaganda, so people don't think that there is slavery going on, and the only 3 punishments that have happened are just 6 months in prison. That's it.
And 1 year. He got
And-
sentenced to
and 1 year.
5, but they were like, we'll ignore the other 4. Here you
Fucking
go.
wow.
So
What
their
the
own
fuck?
government releases like information like, hey, slavery's not good, guys. We're against that now because we need support and aid. And then it's like the slave owners are like, oh no. And then they get arrested, which I can't imagine their jail's any good. I can't imagine what kind of bars they have to keep people in, but whatever. And then it's like, you got sentenced 5 years, bud. And then they only serve like 1 year,
6
and then they're
months.
out. And they're probably still doing trafficking because they're near other countries that are known for trafficking.
fucking unbelievable.
Fun fact, actually, because I still have the map up. Morocco
Quit
is.
looking up stuff.
I don't care. This is a point to the video as an example, okay? Morocco is where one of the fucking Boston bombers went. Fun fact. In case y'all didn't know, they both went to Morocco originally at one point. They took a fucking trip to Morocco and like chilled out there with a bunch of Arabs. And then they came back and did the bombing.
Yep.
So it's a terrorist hotspot.
And
what's by Morocco? Mauritania.
Yep. 100%.
More terrorists.
Fucking unbelievable. Unfucking believable.
You thought the North Korean episode was going to be a hot topic. This is like burning fire.
This is probably going to
100%.
start a civil war in every Discord that ever sees this video. I guarantee it. Because there's going to be idiots out there who are going to paint us as racist for bringing this up. I guarantee it.
All right, so we're going to go and play it.
The Mauritanian authorities took the first steps towards the comprehensive fight against slavery in 2003, when the government turned to the World Bank and independent experts to create an action plan after the presidential elections. Although the military coup in 2005 slowed down the plan's implementation, some parts were still successfully carried out. For example, a campaign to inform Mauritanians about the abolition of slavery. The country is also fighting corruption at the same time, as well as trying to stimulate economic development. Improving the economy would help free many citizens from slavery.
Okay, so their buildings don't look that bad.
So,
Like, from like a larger perspective, their buildings actually don't look that bad. I'd live here. I wouldn't want to, but I would.
Yeah, but you would. Yeah, but because you're white, you'll get enslaved immediately.
No, it won't.
Yeah, you
You have
will.
to
'Cause
try
you have
really
to be
fucking
Muslim.
hard.
You have to be Muslim.
You have to be Muslim.
You have to be
Imagine a
Muslim
baby
to
comes
be
out and he's just atheist. So the whole slavery spiel doesn't work.
well, as they described earlier, that poor child would unfortunately meet a horrific fate.
But they banned slavery, guys. They abolished it.
Fuck the government. Fuck
without
the
killing any of the
government.
slave owners and without actually punishing anybody. They abolished it, guys. It's gone. It doesn't exist anymore. It's still prevalent all over the fucking country. Billions of fucking people are probably still doing it there. But hey, they abolished it. Woo! Everyone's free. Everything's better again, guys.
You know, the only thing,
we ain't slavery no more.
the only thing that would make this worse, the only thing that would make it worse is if they somehow, some fucking godforsaken reason, they got a hold of nuclear weapons. That is the only thing that can make this whole situation. That's the only thing.
Why do you think they want to build their finances and get their papers in order and start building some bigger structures?
Probably
Look at North Korea. We gave aid to North Korea. Look what happened. Oh, they started a nuclear power plant before feeding anybody. I wonder why.
Anyways, let's finish the video. We only got a minute left.
De facto slavery in Mauritania is still a slow and invisible process that leads to the social death of many thousands of men, women, and children. Well, that's all for today. Like the video if you find it interesting. And I feel like this is one that it would be great to share
video's
with Fred too,
over.
and let them know.
So basically,
what's happening
what's all the conclusions?
Also,
I'll start with Nith and then go around. Nith, what's your conclusion on it?
I love the fact they abolished slavery without actually abolishing slavery. Like, they just wrote it down on some toilet paper and then just wiped their ass with it and threw it in the garbage can. And they're like, "Look, guys, good now. Give us money. We're going to build nukes. I mean, we're going to help our people.
Yeah, we're gonna build nukes. Wait.
We need nuclear power. It'll feed everybody. It'll give clean water. Yeah.
By the way, we abolished slavery. Wink, wink. Without actually doing it. Wink, 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 wink.
The fact that only like 3 slave owners in the course of like 10 years, or I would say about 5 or 6, have actually only been like gone to the courts, and one of which got 3 months, the other 2 only got a year when they were sentenced for 5, goes to show you that the slavery thing is entirely a part of their government.
And they don't give a shit about slavery. And
I bet you the cops, I bet you their own cops that arrest the slave owners have slaves themselves. And it's like,
it's kind of like weed. Instead of smoking your weed, they take your slave and put them to work.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, man. Is there anything else, Rex, Fire, y'all want to add anything?
I'm almost done with my last little tidbit.
Right.
I just love the fact that when you look up their country, you can apparently get a PhD in it, but I have no idea how they would do that when their school systems are probably non-existent or barely there.
Yeah.
Even when I looked it up, it's like more than half their population is illiterate, which means their education system is poo-poo.
Yeah.
So how the fuck are people getting bachelors, masters, or PhDs? It's like that.
It's in agriculture because they're using slaves for their farming.
They probably just hold on. They probably just copied and pasted America's like degrees and just say, "Oh, we have that," when they don't actually have it.
They probably got a slave ownership license. That's what they'll do next. Instead of like a firearm license, it's a slave ownership license. So that way they could say it's abolished, but it's not really abolished.
Anyways,
this just looks so done.
All right. Anyways, I do gotta wrap it up because like I don't mean to. Right. I gotta get up.
Yeah,
we gotta go around the room.
Before we end it, hold on, wait. Before we end it, the coal fires are on. Thames, y'all have anything to add before we end it?
I was gonna give it this.
I love slaves.
Go fuck yourself. Anyhow, to lay it all out on the line. So, based on the video I just watched and the information we just read and researched, I am looking at a country of. We could take this is kind of what Hitler would have wanted. This is what Joseph Stalin was pushing for during the 30s and 40s. We are looking at the manifestation of that. In my opinion, that's what we're looking at.
That requires Hitler to not be able to read, first off.
Well, forcing his people to not be able to read.
No. There is no way when more than half of your fucking country and their consensus isn't even accurate, but everyone knows they're illiterate as shit, to sit there and tell me, yeah, this is what a dictator wanted.
I guarantee you, this is perfect for what this is perfect for a dictator, period.
I would say it fits more towards the North Korean thing, to where it's full control. This is just like Wild West slave trade.
I'm not gonna lie. I have to agree with Nith. This is like totally different. Like this is Wild West shit. This ain't shit Hitler would like. North Korea thing, like that argument would be like more accurate with North Korea, but this not at all.
This is not even close to North Korea, and the reason why is because one, where they are, and in fact North Korea doesn't want to butt heads against anybody in this current period of time. Two, the lack of resources would still play a role.
And
then three, there's no nuclear weapons.
Is this the country stealing my Amazon packages?
Probably.
All right. Yes. But anyways, hold on. I do got to wrap it up. So, Coalfire, Rex, Zoran, do y'all have anything before we wrap it up?
I want to say one thing.
Go ahead.
Do you think it'll be possible for the states or NATO to actually make a big military circle around that country and to liberate it?
No.
Like we said, they're not going to give a shit because this country's not a part of NATO. It has no affiliations with. It has no like actual like benefits.
He shook Obama's hand though.
Yeah, but it's because Obama's. Hold on. The reason why Obama probably met with him because Obama's like a Muslim. In fact, Obama wasn't even born in the country. I don't think.
I've heard that rumor before, but I don't remember where that came from.
The birth certificate got leaked, but a lot of people question whether it was authentic or not. That he was a Hawaiian citizen, which would make him a U.S. citizen. But again, we're talking about politics that are like 12 years old.
It doesn't really matter at this point.
Coalfire, do you have anything?
Well, can I have that red rod to shove up the slave owner's ass?
That would be karma.
There you go, a new tool for you.
Anyways, I don't mean to rush it, but like I gotta get up like 9:30 in the morning, so I'm only gonna get like 5 hours of sleep. So I'm gonna go ahead and end it. I appreciate Rex for you coming on, and Thames and Zon. I appreciate y'all coming on last few days, and I hope y'all three gentlemen come back as the show continues to grow. Y'all are welcome to come on any time. I appreciate the audience for supporting, and I appreciate, you know, anyone that's stuck around with the show, even, you know, when people, you know, shit talk us and all that. I appreciate, you know, anyone that's like, you know, been watching the content, enjoys the content, and if you like the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you liked our coverage, like the video. And if you disliked our coverage, like the video anyways, because dislike button is gone. Follow the RavenCast on Twitter. Join the Discord to be a part of the show. And we'll see you in the next channel.
And this is the AJ Thames of Horror House Media signing out. Fuck you, Niff.